Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP as well as the vast majority of crypto. So let's just dive in. And let's start off with this tweet here from Stuart Alderati. So we do see, missed all the excitement yesterday on the Genser hearing. I'm in London, spending time with our team focused on growing our business. Can't tell you how inept the SEC looks from this side of the pond. And this is very interesting considering the fact that the UK has been very adamant about becoming a crypto hub and they want to expand. They've been talking about the digital pound for a while as well. Ripple is on the board to actually help that become a reality, as well as to build out some solid pilots for the digital pound, as well as to bring a lot more spotlighted attention on the benefits of the digital pound as well. But yeah, again, like outside of the US, I know a lot of you watch these videos outside of the US as well. And a lot of you are probably looking within and laughing because the US is practically screwed. Like at this point in time, the US has lost, I mean, as a US investor, I should say, I've lost all hope in any sort of clarity coming for crypto within the next couple of years. Because even John E. Deaton said 2025 is when we will most likely see some sort of regulatory clarity around crypto. Now, yes, that does not pertain to the SEC lawsuit against Ripple. We could see an update at any moment, but I will say, you know, as we look at what's happening within the US, we really got to question what is going on. Why are we as taxpayers funding this nonsense and this charade that you call an agency? And where the hell is the work? Why is work not being done? Over here from Anderson, we do see Kraken US versus EU. How's it going? Kraken to shut US crypto staking service, pay $30 million fine in SEC settlement. Again, remember what I've said. All they care about is those fines, easy paydays. They basically not only strong-armed Kraken into paying them $30 million, but they also strong-armed any US-based crypto platform that had staking as an option to shut it down. Uphold was a big one, right? We talked about Uphold and how Uphold was shutting their staking as a service down as well. Like, what we are currently seeing right now is an attack on DeFi and crypto itself. And then over here, what we do see is Kraken receives key regulatory approval from the Bank of Ireland ahead of EU vote. European Parliament is set to vote on the markets in crypto assets MiCA regulation. Kraken's registration in Ireland will enable it to operate in the entire EU. As the EU prepares for sweeping crypto regulation, Kraken is in the clear. The exchange has stepped over a major regulatory hurdle in Ireland. On Tuesday, April 18th, Kraken announced registering its subsidiary Payward Europe Solutions Limited with the Central Bank of Ireland as a virtual asset service provider. Again, you know, outside of the US, these companies are being, you know, brought in and said, hey, you know, we want you guys to, you know, build here. We want you guys to work here and expand your services because guess what? They see the value. They see the value not only in the assets and the services and things like that, but they also see the value in being one of the early adopters of this technology. Those that are becoming hubs right now that are adopting and accepting crypto for what it is, those are the ones, those nations are going to be the ones that are ahead of all the rest that, you know, stood back and said, all right, we're going to drag our feet on the regulatory, you know, forefront. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to put the time and effort in. Those are going to be the ones that are going to cry at the end of the day. The ones that are sitting here doing the work, putting the time in, putting the effort in, seeing the value, those are going to be the ones that are so ahead of the game and are going to reap the benefits as well. Now, also over here, we do see the EU takes a major step towards ushering in its block-wide crypto law as calls grow for more coordinated regulation of the scandal-prone industry. And here we have the first EU-wide crypto regulations clear final parliament vote. European lawmakers on Thursday gave their final blessing to the ambitious law that will give the European Union its first rules to govern the crypto industry. So, yeah. We are seeing a lot of movement on the regulatory forefront, and even the UK, right? The UK has been very adamant about becoming a crypto hub, and I do believe that they will be next on the list. And yeah, I mean, it seems as though the US wants to be last. at this point, because it's just crazy how far we have fallen behind, and it really is ridiculous at where we are currently standing with the SEC, even around the Ripple lawsuit. Like, we have been waiting 2.5 years already, or almost 2.5 years, I should say, for some major, announcement around this case being put behind us, and we still have not gotten that. Over here, the Wolf of All Streets. Great job, Gary. Coinbase gets Bermuda license. Plans to launch offshore exchange in the coming weeks. Yeah, like, this is happening. This is proof of what's happening in the US as well. The US is screwed. Like, we are fully screwed. Because guess what? I've seen a lot of people going over to Twitter. Coinbase is the best on and off ramp for the retail sector, because it's the easiest to use. I've seen a lot of XRP maxi saying, oh, but Uphold. Have you guys tried using Uphold? I'm sorry, but Uphold is probably one of the worst exchanges in the game. One, their UI is garbage, but also the way that they calculate their fees is also extremely terrible. And then also, locking up your tokens that's not a tier 3 asset. Like, Casper is still locked up, and it's been locked up for almost 2 years now. Yeah, but Uphold's a great exchange, right? Now, I will say MEXC has been one of the best, but in the US, it seems like they're cracking down, and it seems like they're limiting the use of the platform. This is a big deal. And over here, we do see from 801_XRP, Ripple XRP fam. What world does Brad Sherman live on? Every drug sales operation, everything illegal is run by with the US dollar, fiat, and the government still can't figure it out. Or should I say, don't want to, don't care to. Remember, when you're voting and see his name on the ballot to vote him out, we have to get rid of everything associated with the old system, including those safeguarding that system. And listen closely to Mr. Sherman here.
We have a very good payment system. We have an excellent currency. The entire world tends to like the dollar. It's a good store of value, a good measure of value, a good means of transaction. Our payment system, you got Apple Pay, comes right out of your checking account. It's not as good as what the crypto world promises they'll deliver in some future decade, but
and I love how he thinks that it's like a decade away for a lot of the promise around crypto. Like, I could transact right now with XRP. I could transact $1 billion with XRP and pay a fraction of a penny. What can I do with the US dollar? Right? Oh yeah, that's right. I could send it abroad and pay, $30, $40, $50 on a couple $100. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a great system.
But it's way better than what the crypto world delivers now, and I am sure that payment systems using the dollar will get better. So what is the problem? The problem is it's damn hard to cheat on your taxes, and it's damn hard to run a drug sales operation with the US dollar, because we've got know your customer, and we've got anti-money laundering, and we need a payment system that meets the needs of the millions of Americans, or at least the hundreds of thousands of Americans who want to engage in major illegal activity. And my God, other countries are moving forward with this, and we got to catch up with them. Peru's ahead of us in cocaine manufacture, in cocaine cultivation. China's ahead of us in organ harvesting, and it's time for America to catch up.
So, what the hell is this guy? Like, what world does this guy live on? I mean, think about it. Drug trade. I mean, illegal activity. There is so much happening within the US with fiat cash. Oh, we have know your customer and anti-money laundering. Last time I checked, that's not built into paper fiat. Paper fiat is one of the largest tools in illegal activity. It's not crypto. Yeah, I'm gonna go do, I'm gonna go do illegal drug activity utilizing crypto on chain. Like, how ridiculous does that sound? Now, yes, has it happened in the past? 100%. For those OGs out there around crypto, you probably know of Silk Road. Yeah, Silk Road was like the original online drug market on the black market. But again, individuals are utilizing PayPal accounts. They're utilizing stolen credit cards. They're utilizing fiat currency to transact illegally as well as, crypto. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have KYC and AML built in. They will get around it. And fiat currency, paper cash, like I said, it's one of the biggest tools around illegal activity. And Brad Sherman, very interesting individual. We've talked about this individual before on this channel. For those that know of him and recognize him, yeah, this is one of the biggest clowns too within the US. In fact, this clown here is funded by a much larger circus show than the SEC. You know what that is? That's the ABA, the American Bankers Association. Check this out. Going all the way back to December 8th of 2021, ABA applauds House passage of Adjustable Interest Rate Act of 2021. Guess who was behind this? Oh yeah, that's right. Brad Sherman. I mean, how comical is it that we have these individuals like Brad Sherman talking down on crypto, but he's being supported by the ABA, the American Bankers Association. Remember that this is composed of small, regional, and large banks that together employ more than 2 million people around the banking sector. They are a giant and the voice of the nation's banking industry. Oh yeah, but that's right. This individual over here, Brad Sherman, he's a straight shooter. He definitely doesn't have any conflict of interest. He's not working for the bankers or anything like that, right? Like, how ridiculous is this? And over here, we do see exposed congressman trying to shut down cryptocurrency gets biggest donations from big banks and financial institutions. Guess how much money the American Bankers Association gave him? July 1st, 2021. And yeah, guess what? It's not just the ABA. When we scroll down here, check this out. Capital Group companies. And yes, these are small amounts, but guess what? They are still very large if you actually think about the names that they are coming from. 8.4 or 18.4K, Blackstone Group, 16.8K, BlackRock, 11.25K, American Bankers Association, 10K, Capital One, 10K, Charles Schwab, 10K, Credit Union Nation Association, 10K, Discover Financial Services, 10K, and Deloitte, 10K. Again, it definitely gives you a little bit of an insight on why Brad Sherman was not only calling for a ban on cryptocurrency, but he also talks complete nonsense about crypto as well, even though he doesn't know anything about it. And by the way, this was that response back in June of 2021. In fact, I actually liked this, and I quoted this back then as well. And when you go and listen to this, listen closely to this video real quick. It's about a minute and 20 seconds long.
Currency space are naturally pro-crypto. Their fortunes, their relevance, their fame depends upon the success of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is something you can bet on. But if people want to have the animal spirits to take risks, I'd prefer them invest in equity markets to support the building of American companies, or the California lottery to support the schools in my state. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile. So if one person makes $1 million and retires at age 45 and 9 lose $100,000, Coinbase makes money. The one millionaire goes on TV and says how wonderful it is. And 9 others do not retire in dignity, but instead become eligible for Medicaid. Cryptocurrencies can ultimately be successful only if they're successful currencies. And evading the know your customer rule is the one thing that cryptocurrencies have as an advantage to the US dollar. Cryptocurrencies have the political support of the patriotic anarchists who are rooting for tax evasion. I hope we shut it down.
So yeah, he was basically promoting the fact that we need to shut crypto down. We need to shut this entire industry out because of the risk associated with it. It's not supporting American business. Like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? This clown. Oh yeah, that's right. He's a banker himself. He's supporting the big bankers. That's all it's about, right? Protecting the legacy system. Well, guess what? That's what Gary Genser is doing as well. That's what the SEC is doing. And since the dawn of time in this country, guess what? That's what they'll always do. They don't care about me and you. All they care about is the banks. Let's keep the banks rolling. Let's keep that money, that sweet money, coming back into our pockets, because guess what? We love that. We love that greed. We love that control. We love the power that these banks give us, because that's all these regulators, that's all these government entities. That's what they love, right? It's a greed-infested swamp, and it's a swamp that's been built upon corruption, greed, power plays, and ultimately screwing the retail sector, as the SEC promotes this idea of protecting investors, and this clown Gary Genser parades around saying crypto's this, crypto's that, all cryptos as security. We need to go after it. We need to strong arm this industry back down to where it came from. And also, at the same time, saying that it's all to protect me and you, while shutting down the liquidity providers and also exchanges that are the best on and off ramps to and from crypto around the retail sector. I mean, how can this clown even parade around saying the nonsense that he says and thinks that, like, we as the American people, the citizens that he's sought to protect out, are we just going to sit here and believe this nonsense? Absolutely not. We do see caught red-handed. SEC Chair Gary Genser blamed crypto for Signature Bank's failure during his congressional testimony. Today, New York Department of Financial Services Superintendent Adrian Harris refuted that in front of the same committee. It is not the case that the failure of Signature was related to crypto. And I even said the same exact thing. It's complete nonsense what this guy is saying. Listen closely.
Well, if I could just note something about you. You mentioned your hearing about the recent events in the markets. And I would note there were 3 banks that failed in those handful of days, those 4 or 5 days. And 2 of those banks, the first and the third that failed, Silvergate and Signature, were engaged in the crypto business. I mean, some would say they were, crypto banks. So it's interesting just how this was all had some crypto narrative as well.
It is a misnomer that the failure of Signature Bank was related to crypto. What we saw with Signature Bank is that it had a new-fashioned bank run, and the outflow of deposits were from a broad depositor base, including wholesale food vendors, fiduciaries, trust accounts, law firms. And in fact, the outflow of crypto deposits were in exact proportion to their representation in the depositor base overall. And in fact, some of those deposit outflows were actually pre-planned. So it's, of course, unfortunate that there was a run on the bank at Signature prompted by what we saw with SVB, but it is not the case that the failure of Signature was related to crypto.
And there you have it. I'm telling you, like, I honestly don't understand how Gary Genser is still in the position that he's in. I've talked about it many, many times on this channel, that as we do look at these regulators and we look at what's happening within this country is dying. And you want to know why this country has been dying for many years? I mean, going all the way back to the 70s, 80s, and even beforehand. The introduction of the Fed is what started the downward spiral. Because guess what? Once we got the Fed, we start to see the retail sector being screwed. Taxpayer money. Go look at where your taxpayer money goes to. I guarantee you that you're not happy about it, because most of your taxpayer money goes to fund the SEC, the ABA, and all this nonsense. And guess what they're trying to do? That's right, screw the entire retail sector out of being a part of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And also, guess what? They don't want to put any time and effort into regulating the space, because they don't want the space to thrive. They don't want the space to be successful, because they all care about one thing: giving the power to the banks and Wall Street, and keeping those that are on the top still on the top, reaping the benefits of you and me. Just like Wall Street. Everyone thinks Wall Street's your friend. No, absolutely not. None of these centralized entities that are making money off of you and me, they don't care about us. They absolutely don't. It's the same exact way that the SEC is not here to protect investors. They're not here to protect anyone besides the banks. And I strongly believe that the banks have a hand in all of this, and there's payoffs happening. They might be, in the form of, it's donations. It's donations. The biggest donations from, these, centralized entities like BlackRock and the American Bankers Association and all these other centralized entities around the banking sector. It might come in the form of donations. It might come in the form of, this, that, whatever, or funding their campaigns. It's all complete nonsense. It's payoffs. It's payoffs to keep this game and the charade going about, how crypto's this, crypto's that. I'm so tired of hearing this nonsense around how crypto's utilized for illegal activity and for this and that. Like, take a step back, look at the dollar. What's the dollar used for? Do these people think that like the dollar is used for like the greatest things on the planet 24/7, 365? Like, the dollar has been a part of more crimes and more illegal activity itself than crypto will ever be. And I strongly mean that, because guess what? It's been happening for well over a century. So with all that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. Others, hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.